ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक् प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्म उपनिषदम् माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ओम शांति शांति शांति।
Mahopanisad, chapter 5, verse 64. Who is the person who can gain Brahma-jnana or whose mind can get absorbed in the Brahma-swarupa is being described. Read 64.
सुप्तस्य धन सम्मोहमये संसारवर्त्मनि अत्यन्तपक्ववैराग्यात् अरसेषु रसेष्वपि।
These features or qualifications are in addition to few of them which are known, studied earlier. Take Anvaya. Atyanta pakva vairagyat ghana sammoha samaye raseshu api samsara vartmani suptasya. Verb is going to come in 66. These are all the qualifications or the preparedness of the mind on the part of the seeker who wants to get his mind absorbed in the Swarupa. Continuing, he says, a person who on account of totally mature vairagya, atyanta pakva vairagya, pakva means mature, means because of very staunch vairagya dispassion. The attitude toward the Vishayas that they are incapable of giving me the joy and contentment that I seek is so steadfast because of one's own inquiry and discovery that this person is totally indifferent towards them. So therefore, atyanta pakva vairagya, because in life, under many circumstances, one develops vairagya dispassion, but it is temporary. You may be familiar with the name, with this phrase, smashana vairagya. some near and dear person passed away. And seeing all that funeral and all that, this person, how great he was, how good he was, how much he was earning, how much he was useful. What is the use of all this? One has to leave everything and depart. How long? For a while. Afterward, that goes. Other ones, they say, Prasuti Vairagya. A mother that is undergoing delivery pain determines that no more children. So like that. Temporary phase of Vairagya. Not that way. Atyanta Pakva Vairagya. Means Viveka is so staunch that is totally convinced that sense objects, sense pleasures cannot really make me happy. And not only is convinced, but he has got a practice of withdrawing himself from the sense pleasure. Otherwise, by habit, he can gravitate to sense pleasure. No, he has got that habit. He developed that habit. So because of this, as a result, it says, Ghana Sammoha Samayi. What means is, Ghana Sammoha Samaye Raseshu Api Samsara Vartmani Suptas. Let us take this first. Samsara Vartmani Suptas. One who is asleep to the ways of the world, to the manners of the world. One who is asleep means one is not indulging, or one is not after, or one is not conforming to the manners and ways of the world in terms of procuring this and abandoning that. Abandoning what? Araseshu means undesirable things. One is not bothered about the undesirable things. Raseshu api. One is not bothered about the desirable things also. Where are all these? Ghana sammoha samaye samsara vartmani. In the ways of the world, which are totally the product of the intense ignorance of oneself. Ghana sammoha. Ghana means dense. Sammoha, ignorance, delusion. Samaye, not samaye, maye. Product of that, full of that, prachurya or vikara. So in these ways of the world, which are the products of intense ignorance of oneself, so the person who on account of intense vairagya is totally asleep, means not at all preoccupied in the ways of raseshu, undesirable things and desirable things. Undesirable is not bothered to get it off. Desirable, it is not bothered to procure them. He is totally indifferent toward this ways of the world. Continuing.
संसार वासना जाले खगजाल इवाधुना त्रोटिते हृदय ग्रंथौ श्लथे वैराग्यरंभसा.
When this is accomplished, what is it? Vairagya Ramvasa Khagajalaha. Vairagya Ramvasa Akhuna Khagajalaha Iva. Or take this way. Akhuna Khagajalaha Iva. वैराग्य रंहसा संसार वासना जाले त्रोटिते हृदय ग्रंथौ श्लथे. And this is accomplished. What is that? For illustration given. Akhuna khagajalaha iva. Akhu is the rat. Khagajala is the net to prepare to catch the birds. Now, the rat, what does it do? It cuts the net. At times they are so powerful, I have heard that they are biting and cutting the wires in the cars also. Means that powerful teeth they have got to cut. Like the rats cut the bird's net. Likewise, Vairagya Rahvasa, by the power of Vairagya, by the power of Vairagya. What is cut? Throatite. Cut. What is that? Samsara Vasana Jale Throatite. Throatite. Cut. What is cut? Samsara Vasana Jala. Samsara Vasana Jale. Throatite. And as a result, Hridaya Granthau Shlate. Hridaya Granthau Shlate. Shlate means loosened. What is loosened? Hridaya Granthau. Hridaya Granthau Shlate. So that is the Hridaya Granthi means Adhyasa. Atmanatma Adhyasa is what? Loosened. Loosened. So Throatite further, and not further. In the case of such a person, see, description started from second line of 61. Jantoho krita vicharasya vigalad vritti chetasaha. So with all this preparation of mind, with all this eligibility, that person who has got such ready mind can gain his mind absorbed the Swarupa, or to such person, the Swarupa, one's real nature, gets revealed. Read 66.
कातकं फलमासाद्य यथा वारि प्रसीदति तथा विज्ञानवशतः स्वभावः सम्प्रसीदति.
यथा कातकं फलमासाद्य वारि प्रसीदति तथा विज्ञानवशतः स्वभावः सम्प्रसीदति. स्वभाव. Those who have studied well Atmabodha can recall one verse. Ajnana kalushitam jivam jnana bhasa vinirmalam krutva jnanam swayam nashet jalam katakarenuvat. Ajnana kalushitam jivam jnana bhasa vinirmalam krutva. The antakarana of the jiva, which is totally muddled on account of ajnana, has to take to Jnanabhasa. Jnanabhyasa is elimination of anatma pratyaya and putting efforts to keep the atma pratyaya continue. This is dhyasana. And then what happens? Vinay Gutwa, Ajnana Kalusham Jivam Jnanabhyasa Vinirbalam Kritva Jnanam Swayam Nashe Jalam Katakarenu. When this is done, the jnana here is that antakarana vritti, which was antidote for ajnana, that also ends, for which illustration is given. Jalam kataka renu. In the muddy water, if you sprinkle on it the powder of kathaka nut, a type of nut, what does it do is, it forms a film, and a layer of film is formed on the surface of the water, and it goes on settling down. While settling down, it just takes all the muddy content down at the bottom as the residue. By doing so, itself also settles down, because if it continues to suspend in the water, another type of impurity has come. It removed the impurity and itself also got out of the muddy water. Like that, the akhandakara vritti, the vritti, product of antakarana, it removes ajnana vritti and itself also gets ended. What remains is the Shuddha Chaitanya. Pure awareness, of course, revealed in an antakarana which has got very minute samskara shesha. That's the best you can get in the human embodiment. That antakarana with minute samskara shesha, you can't avoid, because knowledge has to be antakarana only. Ignorance is the problem of antakarana. Solution must be in antakarana. But it is not a normal antakarana of usual mentation, monovyapa. Not a mind preoccupied with extrovert things. Introvert, totally withdrawn from all preoccupations of Vishayas and just appearing like Atma Swarup with little Chitta Samskara Shesha. That is what is told here. Says, Yatha, just as Katakam Falamasadya. Water, muddy water, having got the Kataka nut powder, Yatha Vari Prasidati, just as water, Prasidati means becomes clear. The muddy water in which Kataka nut powder is put becomes clear. Tatha, in the same manner. Vijnana Vashata. On account of Vijnana. You can take a Vijnana as elimination of Anat Pratyaya, making the Atma Pratyaya flows, what is called a Nididhyasana. As a result of Nididhyasana, Sakshatkara Vashataha. Antakaran Sakshat, what is Sakshatkara? Brahma Chinmatra Saratva. In the Antakarana, all that is there is Brahma, Chaitanya and Chaitanya Sarupa Brahma alone is there. Chaitanya and Chaitanya Sarupa Brahma alone is there. So, Vijnana Shatabhaga Sanashatara Swabhavaha Samprasidati. We can take that Swabhava as Swarupa, Paramatma Swarupa. Samprasidati becomes clear, gets revealed. Now, before that, because of identification with Antakarna, the Paramatma appeared to be muddled with all the features of samsara, muddled with all features of upadhis, because of this adhyas of Antakarna. Now it has gone. All that gets revealed in Antakarna is Paramatma Swarupa as it is. Some pressure revealed. That is Paramatma. Or you can take Swabhava as Antakarna. Samprasirati, Antakarna becomes clear means it becomes so clear that Paramatma Swarupa gets revealed in it. Those who do not have such preparations, they get deprived of their swarupa and continue in samsara only. And those who take to this means, they just fly off like a bird which was held captive in a cage for a long period. So it is left to us whether to be captive in this Deha Panjara, in the cage of our body, in this samsara forever, or fly off from this in our own swarupa, free with total freedom, independent of everything else that is left to us. Continue.
Niragam nirupasangam nirdvandvam nirupashrayam viniryati mano mohat vihanga panjaradiva.
Vihagaha Panjaradiva. Niragam Nirupasangam Nirdvandvam Nirupashrayam Manaha Mohad Viniryati. Like Vihagaha Panjaradiva. Like a bird kept captive in a cage for a long period. Generally, such birds don't want to leave the cage. They get habituated to that. Even if you keep the door open, they will not go. Even if you push them out, again they will enter. But a smart bird, which has realized its plight and how captive it is, exiled as it were from its freedom in the open sky, just abandons the cage and flies off, a free bird in the open sky. So like that, the Jiva. There was one movie song, Challa Uda Ja Re Panchi Ki Aba Ye Desha Hua Begana. Of course, don't connect to it that original movie if you have seen, etc. There the context is different. Oh bird, Challa Uda Ja, fly off. Ki, kyunki, why? Aba, now, Yaha Desha Hua Begana. Know your Swarupa, and you'll find that where you are now, this samsara is a foreign land for you. Begana, alien, a foreign land for you. This is not your native place. Your native place is Paramananda Swarupa. You are in exile in this sorrowful samsara. And if you don't do that, तेरे किस्मत में लिखा है. It is written on a forehead. What? कि जीते जी मर जाना. Means जीते जी मर जाना. You will be dead even while living. That will be your plight in this samsara. Janma, marana, janma, marana, janma, marana. No respite at all. Like an insect caught in the whirlpool of rivers. It has got in the whirlpool and it goes on spinning, spinning, spinning. At times, from one whirlpool, it got thrown into other whirlpool. Goes on until some kind person comes and lifts and puts on the bank. So, O Jiva bird, if you have not got yourself freed from this by kicking this samsara cage, you will be living dead person with janma marana, incessant cycle. Mahati vinashti. Great calamity is stored for you. So like that, see, therefore, Vedanta needs to be taken seriously. Not simply some satsang. Satsang is okay, but don't content be with the satsang. Proceed further. Don't be complacent with whatever situation you are in now. Totally get out of it. Be established in the Swarup. Till then, no rest. Continuous efforts must be put forth. So like that, here, like a smart bird which flies off from the cage. Vihagaha panjaradiva. Such a mind, what does it do? It abandons samsara, gets rooted in its swarupa. What type of mind it is? Number one, niragam. Niragam is raga rahita, asakti rahita, vishayeshu priti rahita. Hankering for vishaya sense pleasure is not. In short, it is indifferent. So the mind which is indifferent. Nirupa sangam. That is one which is anasakta, not interested in any sense objects. The one which are discovered that no vishayas can make him really happy. Therefore, he is not interested at all. Nirdvandvam, free from dualities, pairs of opposite. Nirupashrayam, not dependent on anything. Independent of everything. Why independent of everything? At least you have depended on the body, no? No. There is nothing left out that he can accomplish on account of body. What the human body can accomplish? You know, four accomplishments. Artha, securities. Kama, fulfillment of desires. Dharma, life of righteousness. Moksha, freedom from samsara. Four purusharthas. This person has already discovered a swarupa. Moksha is already got. What is left out? So therefore, and because he has discovered this, till now at least minimum one dependence was there. Though he was not dependent on the world, he was still now dependent on Ishvara. Now he has discovered my Swarupa, Ishvara Swarupa, one and the same. That last straw of dependence also goes. So that Nirupa Ashraya. Till then, dependence of Ishvara Bhakti is necessary. But now, because of his jnana, even that dependence has dropped off. Not that he has given up, has dropped off. When he is aware of the world, Ishvara Bhakti is there. When he is absorbed Swarupa, Ishvara himself has dropped down. Because the question of depending on Ishvara. Because Ishvara is also a product of Maya, in the sense, in the realm of Maya, in the realm of Jagat, which he has transcended, and Ishvara, who was hitherto useful, indispensable, has dropped down. All that is there is me, Chaitanya, and Chaitanya alone. Nirupashrayam, not dependent on anything. Such manaha, viniryati, it totally gives up his samsara and gets absorbed in the Atma Swarupa, Brahma Swarupa. And such mind, which is absorbed the Swarup, which has no doubt whatsoever about one's real nature, really excels everything. Continue.
शान्तसन्देहदौरात्म्यं गतकौतुकविभ्रमं परिपूर्णान्तरं चेतः पूर्णेन्दुरिव राजते.
Shanta Sandeha Dauratmyam Gata Kautuka Vibramam Paripurnantaram Cheta Purnenduriva Rajati. Chetaha, the mind, means the person who has such a mind. What type of mind? Shanta Sandeha Dauratmyam. The one in whom this Duratma Rupa Sandeha is what? Ended. See, doubt about the Swarupa of oneself, doubt about the real nature of Jagat, doubt about the real nature of Ishvara is called as what? Duratma, a wicked entity. Because that doubt deprives you of your Swarupa. So therefore, that Samshaya Rupa Duratma, the wicked entity in the form of doubts about Swarupa, say, Shanta, has become ended. That wretched doubt about oneself has ended in whom? The mind wherein such doubt is ended. Gata Kautuka Vibramam. And the mind which is free from admiration of Prapancha and Jagat. Oh, how great the Jagat is. Science, modernity. Oh, how far we have progressed. Kautaka. Admiring that. It has nothing to admire from the Jagat. How come? Such, what is that? Glorious Jagat is there. Such covetable Jagat is there. You can get many things as well. That fascination is so great. Yes. Because you don't know the entity in whose presence this is just nothing. Not only nothing, but the source of ever, never ending misery. And what is that? Your Swarupa. A person who has no Swarupa, the world, even at its best, words don't bother. The world, even at its best, cannot create any sense of glamour in that. Nowadays, people are carried away by the glamour of science and technology. Maybe, why maybe? True. It might have advanced or accomplished spectacular result in certain fields. But are they the means, the final means to make me ever contented, totally free from entity which is limitless happiness? They don't know at all. The scientists don't know or may not know, but they are not ready to investigate at all. They are so blinded by their accomplishment, the glamour of science and technology. They say this is the final. Anything other than God, we that all God. Useless. This is not a sign of a scientific mind. A scientific mind is always investigating. It doesn't take the things for granted. But the so-called scientists, except few mature ones possibly, have taken for granted that science is all. If that were the case, modern science may be different. Vedic age, there are many branches of science with which people were at peace and prosperity. Just investigating the true history of India, not what the history that's published now. Vedic India was golden India. Even the education system was one which is unparalleled in the world. But by hook or crook, it was separated from Indians to make them imperial slaves. It is time for us to discover the truth. Fine. So, Gata Kautu Kavibra. He has no fascination, no glamour about anything in the world else. Because, see, you can rate a thing from its capacity to make you more and more happy for more and more period with less and less sorrow, and not only that, with no sorrow. That should be the rating point. Not little joy here and there. More and more joy with no dependence on anything. Today, see the advertisement. They make you dependent on 1,000 things. Otherwise, how their business will run? They want to create habits in you so that you are a perpetual slave of their products. That is not the real happiness. Independent of everything. Happiness which is independent of our physical body also. Independent of mind also. That alone can be something which is wondrous. So that is what Vedanta points out. Not simply points out, makes you discover, if you are available, that it is your Swarupa, your true nature. You must have heard this 100 times in the Vedantic teaching. And you are reconciled, yes. Also. And then what? We continue what we have. This is what is called, what is that? developing immunity for a medicine. Medicine doesn't work. You are listening this 100 times and higher session. You agree with that. And you are not taken seriously. And your Bhava Roga continues. And you are not aware that your Bhava Roga is continuing. With let some satsang here and see this complacency is not good at all. And a mumukshu must be like a person who runs toward the water, a person whose head is ablaze and runs toward the water. Head is ablaze means what? Not fire is sitting on that. This person is basically a kalvata. Kalvata, bald person, and happened to go in the sun at 3 p.m. in Delhi summer. Oh, head is on fire. He wants whole place rushing there. Like that, mumuksha must be there. We should first discover the seriousness of our samsara problem in terms of death, birth, which is imminent. No guarantee that we are going to be next moment. Leave aside next day or next hour. No guarantee. But we take for granted. All priority must be there. Seriousness must be there. Viveka Vairagya need to be developed. हाँ, भगवान की कृपा से सब कुछ कोसी कोसी चलता है. Maybe you have done some punya in the past. That's why life is so. But there is not a guarantee for future. So that seriousness of the samsara problem has to be discovered first. Once that is discovered, that person will not rest contented with anything short of Swarupa Jnana. So this person has what? Gata Kautaka Vibhrama. The world, Jagat, at its best, cannot hold any fascination for this person. And Paripurnantaram Cheta. Cheta, the mind, means the person who has got such mind, is what? Antaram Paripurna. In itself, Paripurna, full and complete, doesn't lack anything. Paramananda Swarup. Paramananda Swarup. Paripurnantara means the Ananda Swarupa, which is independent of everything, which is ever exceeding principle, is absorbed in that. Such a person, such a mind, Purnendu iva rajate. Rajate. Rajate excels, shines like Purnenduhu iva. Like the full moon. Just as the full moon is cool and comforting. So this person is so absorbed in the Paramahansa. Not only discards himself, and is disposed such that he radiates that happiness all around. If not anything, such a person will be an object of inquiry of alert people, very people who wants to find out something worthwhile in life. Why? How? They know to be happy, how much we struggle in life, how much we depend on many things in the world. And yet, we cannot really claim that we are the happy one. Here is a person who is not dependent on anything, who is independent of everything, knows not where he is going to get the next meal. Yet, Paramananda Swarup. What makes him so? If they take this inquiry seriously, they will be in a position to solve this problem of samsara, to solve this perennial problem of samsara, of sukha prapti and dukkha nivritti. Such a person, jnani, he knows the truth, the ultimate truth, what it is. Continue.
Naham na chanyadastih brahmaivasmi niramayam ittham sadastor madhyat yah pashyati sapashyati.
Aham na anyachana asti. Here, we take this. Here. Aham na asmi. Anyacha nasti. Niramayam Brahma evasmi. Niramayam Brahma evasmi. Itham. That phrase is like this. Sadasatoho madhyam. Sat asat tayoho. Sadasato sat asato madhyam. Yaha pashyati saha pashyati. One who sees this, he sees the truth. With that person, one whose vision, knowledge is aham na asmi. The entity, that body is me, such a thing, entity is not there at all. Nacha anyadasti. Anything other than me is not there at all. I as an entity, jiva, is not there. As an individual, I am not there. Other things other than me also are not there. Then what is there? Here, in this so-called Jagat that you call, according to me, there is nothing like that. But you call the Jagat, wherein you think you are there, when you think other than you are there, that Jagat is God. Brahma eva. It is my Swarupa Brahma, Asmi Brahma. And what is it that Brahma? Niramayam. Niramayam, Nirupadravam, afflictionless, sorrowless, no trace of sorrow in it. No trace of, no trace of sorrow in it. Where does he see this? It come in this manner. Yeah, the one who Sadasato Madhyam Pashyati. Pashyati Sakshat Karot. Directly experience. Where? Madhyam, in between Sat and Asat. Here Sat is Vyakta Jagat, manifest Jagat. Asat is unmanifest cause. In between means Adhisthana, the basis of the manifest Jagat and its cause, basis with Chaitanya and Chaitanya alone. The one who is Pashyati, as the Sakshatkar of this, Saha Pashyati. He sees the truth. He knows the truth. So therefore, for example, in our life, take the unit of a day, 24 hours, our calculation, which consists of waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. A sample analysis. Waking state and dream state corresponds to Vyakta Jagat, manifest world, our life manifest. Sushupti, deep sleep state, corresponds to Avyakta Jagat, unmanifest part of our life. So what is the Madhya? In between means what? What is the common denominator in all these things? Chaitanya. Chaitanya, because of which you experience waking world. Chaitanya, because of which you experience dream world. Chaitanya, because of which you experience the deep sleepers. Otherwise, in the language of Mandukya Bhash, Mandukya Upanishad, called as what? Turiya. What is Turiya? The Chaitanya, which is in and through waking, dream, and sleep. That is called as Sadasato Ho Madhya. This is at the individual level. Same thing at the totality level also. When who says this, he says the truth. Now, we are convinced we must get this knowledge. We have to begin with what is indispensable. Again came same thing. What is that? Withdrawal of the mind from sense pleasure, sense pursuit. Withdraw from the sense vishaya, sense objects. But yes, that agreed. Means vairagya is necessary, agreed. But there are few things which you can't avoid so that the body is there. Few things are necessary for the upkeep of the body. Food, etc. What about them? They also vishaya bhoga. Yes. In such things, what should be the attitude? that is being now described. Means Vishaya Bhoga, which is indispensable for the upkeep of the body, which cannot be avoided at all. Yet, how it can be the one which is not binding. So, what attitude one should have? That is being shown now. We'll see.
स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं शोभरहितः ब्राह्मणा सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि